Imagine standing face to face with life's hardest challenges: loss, pain, uncertainty, and somehow, despite it all, finding the strength to rise above, not just to survive, but to truly thrive. This isn't some ancient tale or forgotten philosophy, it's something that can actually change your life today. I'm talking about Stoicism, a philosophy that turns your struggles into strengths and your fears into courage. It's not a quick fix or magic trick, but a way of life that can help you navigate the chaos of modern life with grace and wisdom. Think about it. Our world pushes us toward endless wants and instant pleasures. But what if I told you that the key to real happiness lies in embracing simplicity, practicing gratitude, and focusing only on what you can control? This isn't another self-help gimmick. It's a battle-tested philosophy that has helped great leaders, thinkers, and even emperors live meaningful, impactful lives. If you've ever felt lost, overwhelmed, or simply curious about how to lead a good life, stick around. Let's dive into the heart of Stoicism and uncover the timeless secrets to a fulfilling life, secrets that Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus left for us to discover. Trust me, this journey could be the game changer you've been searching for. But here's what I ask: don't skip this video. If you're watching this, you're already different from the crowd. Now, act like it and stick with me through the whole message. 6 Stoic Principles for a More Fulfilling Life, inspired by Marcus Aurelius. 1. Put people first. In a world where success is often measured by what you own rather than what you give, Marcus Aurelius stands as a towering example of true leadership. Picture this. Marcus was the most powerful man in the known world. Every luxury, every pleasure was at his fingertips. But when faced with one of the deadliest crises of his time, a pandemic that threatened to wipe out much of his empire, he took a radically different path than we might expect from a ruler of his stature. Instead of hiding in his palace, surrounded by wealth and luxury, he made an astonishing decision. He began selling off his own possessions, treasures that symbolized his power and status. But this wasn't just a symbolic act. It was a lifeline for a society that was struggling, for people who looked to him not just for leadership, but for compassion. Marcus Aurelius demonstrated the Stoic belief that true wealth doesn't come from possessions, but from living a life of virtue and serving others. He didn't just talk about Stoicism, he lived it. Marcus wasn't the only philosopher to hold these values. Aristotle believed true happiness comes from living a life full of virtuous action, guided by reason. He argued that fulfillment comes not from seeking personal pleasure, but from contributing to the greater good. Similarly, Plato stressed the importance of the philosopher king, a ruler who leads with wisdom and justice, prioritizing the needs of the people above his own desires. When we put others first, especially in times of crisis, we don't just provide material aid. We give hope, solidarity, and a sense of shared humanity. This is the essence of leadership that Marcus Aurelius embodied, a leadership rooted in empathy, sacrifice, and a commitment to the common good. 2. There's always another path. Have you ever hit a dead end? Felt like no matter which direction you take, you just keep running into walls? That feeling is all too common. But what if I told you that the very obstacles you face could be transformed into opportunities? This is where the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius truly shines. He understood that when one door closes, another opens. Together with other Stoic philosophers like Seneca and Epictetus, Marcus taught that life is full of challenges, but these challenges aren't the end of the road, they're just opportunities to grow, to redirect our paths, and to find new ways forward. Stoicism is all about understanding that while we can't always control what happens to us, we always have control over how we respond. This Stoic principle is a game changer. It encourages us to shift our perspective. Obstacles aren't dead ends, they're redirections. There's always another way, another path, another solution waiting to be discovered. And no, the alternative path isn't always easy or straightforward. Sometimes it requires us to dig deep, to be creative, and to develop strengths and skills we didn't even know we had. Let's take a moment to reflect on the wisdom of other great minds. These philosophers weren't just theorists, they were practical thinkers who helped guide people through life's most challenging times. Aristotle once remarked that art's purpose is not to capture the outward appearance of things, but to reveal their deeper significance. This insight aligns with the Stoic view of obstacles. It's not the external challenge that shapes our experience, but the meaning we assign to it and the actions we take in response. Socrates, through his method of probing questions, teaches us to examine the beliefs and assumptions we hold about obstacles. By questioning these, we can discover fresh paths and solutions that are hidden beneath our initial emotional reactions. The Stoic lesson that another path is always open is more than just a strategy for overcoming challenges. It's a reminder that life's hurdles are essential to our journey. They test us, refine us, and ultimately push us towards becoming the best version of ourselves. The power lies in realizing that while we can't always control what happens, we always have the power to choose how we respond. 3. Progress one step at a time. In life, it's easy to get stuck in a cycle of overthinking, constantly planning and dreaming about what comes next, but never actually taking action. We often wait for the perfect moment to make a move. However, Marcus Aurelius brings us back to an essential truth. Knowing what to do isn't enough, we must act. The Stoics believe in taking consistent, deliberate steps toward our goals. Procrastination holds us back from growth. To break through this inertia, it's important to start small but start now. The key to progress is found in daily action, not grand gestures. Aristotle famously said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This highlights the power of consistent small steps. Plato, in his dialogues, emphasized that true knowledge leads to virtuous action. Aligning our actions with our highest ideals brings us closer to the good life. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor as well as a philosopher, understood this deeply. His life was filled with decisions that shaped the fate of millions. Yet his philosophy stresses that growth is built through persistent small efforts. Whether you're striving to improve your health, learn a new skill, or create something meaningful, every journey starts with that first step. 4. Let go of anxiety. In the quiet moments when the hustle and noise fade away, we are often left with our own thoughts and emotions. For many, this is when anxiety can creep in. Marcus Aurelius had a profound insight into anxiety. He realized that it doesn't come from the outside world, but from within. This discovery is at the core of Stoic thought. True peace, Stoicism teaches us, comes from within, and much of the anxiety we feel is a choice. Stoicism urges us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, perceptions, and reactions. While we can't control external events, we always have the power to decide how we respond to them. By shifting our focus to what's within our control, we can release unnecessary worries and cultivate inner peace. But how do we put this into practice? Anxiety often arises from our desire to control the uncontrollable worrying about the future or overthinking how others perceive us. Marcus Aurelius advises that these concerns lie outside our sphere of control and shouldn't disturb our peace of mind. Plato emphasized the importance of self-awareness, teaching that true wisdom leads to mastery over ourselves. By examining our thoughts and emotions, we can better understand the root causes of our anxiety and address them with reason and clarity. Socrates, who valued the examined life, would suggest that by reflecting on our anxieties, we can question their validity and reshape our relationship with them. The Stoic practice of letting go of anxiety involves changing our perspective. It doesn't mean ignoring our feelings, but observing them with detachment and choosing not to let them rule our peace. 5. A good start is half the battle. How we begin our day can significantly influence everything that follows. Marcus Aurelius understood this principle deeply. Despite being an emperor with immense power and countless responsibilities, he committed himself to morning routines that grounded him and prepared him for the challenges ahead. He didn't rise early out of necessity, but out of a genuine desire to begin his day with purpose. Journaling was one of his tools, not just for reflection, but to align his thoughts and actions with his core values. For Marcus, starting his day intentionally wasn't about adhering to a rigid schedule, but about creating a foundation for success. This idea, well begun is half done, reminds us of the importance of beginning each day, task, or project with clear intention. It's a timeless concept, resonating with the wisdom of philosophers throughout history. Aristotle, for example, emphasized that our habits shape our character and our lives. He believed excellence is achieved not through isolated acts, but through consistent habits. By starting our day with purposeful routines, we cultivate habits that guide us toward a virtuous and fulfilling life. It's not the grand gestures that define us, but the small, steady actions we take each day. Plato's philosophy of the world of forms also ties in here, suggesting that while we may never reach the ideal version of ourselves, the act of striving toward it brings out the best in us. Starting the day with intention is like setting ourselves toward our ideal form, the best version of who we can be. By embracing each day with purpose, we take charge of our lives, creating a positive tone that impacts everything we do. We remind ourselves of our core values and ensure that our actions reflect them throughout the day. 6. Be strict with yourself. The journey of personal growth and self-improvement requires a delicate balance between compassion for others and discipline for ourselves. This balance is at the heart of Marcus Aurelius's teachings. He emphasized being lenient and understanding with others, but strict with oneself. This Stoic principle calls us to take full responsibility for our thoughts, actions, and growth, while resisting the urge to impose our expectations on others. Self-discipline is a solitary pursuit. It's a personal commitment to uphold the highest standards for ourselves and to continuously strive towards self-improvement. However, this doesn't mean setting impossible standards or being overly harsh. It's about recognizing our potential for growth and making the conscious decision to move closer to our ideal selves each day. Marcus Aurelius lived by this principle, as shown in his Meditations, where he reflected on the importance of self-examination, virtue, and the pursuit of wisdom. He knew that real progress starts from within, and that we have the ability to cultivate peace, virtue, and resilience through discipline and mindful action. Other philosophers and psychologists have echoed this Stoic belief. Aristotle, for example, described virtue as the balance between excess and deficiency, a concept he thought could be developed through habitual practice. Applying this to self-discipline, it's about finding a middle ground, pushing ourselves to grow while being mindful of our limits. Being strict with oneself, as Marcus Aurelius advised, isn't about punishing or depriving ourselves. It's about holding ourselves to a higher standard and recognizing that we have the capacity for growth and improvement. It's about taking deliberate steps that align with our deepest values, even when doing so requires effort or sacrifice. Simultaneously, Marcus's advice to show leniency toward others reminds us to cultivate empathy, kindness, and respect for the unique paths everyone is on. Understanding that others have their own challenges and lessons to learn allows us to practice not only self-discipline, but also compassion in our relationships with others. If this message has resonated with you, I invite you to dive deeper into the journey of growth. Explore the suggested videos on the screen to continue uncovering wisdom, building resilience, and pursuing fulfillment. Together, let's walk the path of virtue, guided by the timeless light of Stoic philosophy. Thank you for being part of the Stoic Strength community. Until next time, keep strengthening your inner fortress.